All right, so we just shared some ideas on how to collect some inspiration for the ads. In summary, that was places like your regional tourism organisation. Look for what type of copy they use on their site and in their communication, in things like their newsletter or on Facebook. Look at Tourism Australia even, have a look at how they communicate in all those platforms, whether it's Google, Facebook, Instagram, on their website itself. And for the Google Ads side of things, just literally Google Ads for your industry, and go to images and have a look at what you can uncover there. We weren't entirely successful in there, so what I've actually done is just fleshed some of those ideas out a little bit further, just by myself. So let's jump in and have a quick look at that, so we can start having a look at the ads that we're going to build. So here we're looking at the Facebook ads, and I did notice before I turned this back on that was actually our copy for the Google ads. So to visitors, so this is Facebook ads, one's brand awareness. This is our capital city audience, but our visitor ad is to people who are in the destination at the moment. So for example, pick up from Melbourne or Geelong is not really relevant because they are on the Bellarine already. Pick up from, you might say, anywhere on the Bellarine. That's not within an hour of your the nearest city or whatever. That isn't relevant either. Reacquaint yourself with, it's not. Sell it, that's relevant. That's not so much relevant. And you probably want something like leave the car. Let's say leave the car at home and experience the best of the Bellarine. Wineries. Let's do that. So we've got a few messages now that are certainly going to be enough for to set up a couple of good ads in Facebook for our visitors. So that's going to be visitors to the region. And as I mentioned in one of the previous lessons, I'll show you how to do that when we do jump into Facebook. So this was our Facebook ads, 2 campaigns, 1 audience inside each of those campaigns. So brand awareness was a capital city audience with these demographics, and then these were some of our ad ideas. And then we're going to grab a photo or an image when we jump in and build the ad. This side was a consideration campaign. It was to visitors. These are the demographics. So they're in destination at the moment. They're interested in food and wine. And below there, we've just gone through those ad ideas. So on this slide, I fleshed out a few ideas for Google ads. So again, this is more call to action type copy. They're searching with intent to purchase, or certainly intent to, with a consideration to purchase in the short term. So we've got a conversion campaign, the Melbourne and Geelong, with keywords such as a starting point, it's going to be keywords like, where do I add? Let's go. So we're going to start with keywords like winery tour. We're not going to go too broad. We're going to start winery tour, Bellarine wine tour. You might go beer tour, Geelong. That'll do. So there are keywords, and here are the ideas for some copy for the ads. Now Google Ads has a few different places you can put copy, and it sort of layers on each other. So that's a good starting point. So now that we've just gone through, we've nailed down our copy. Now we can start actually getting into the platforms and building the ads themselves. So let's go do that now. So here we are. We're going to build the ads, and we're going to start with Google, as I mentioned, not Facebook, Google. So to get to Google Ads, if you haven't done it before, you're going to go Google Ads. And if we come here, you can see that's the start. So if I go there, this is going to prompt you to get started with Google Ads. So you'll use your Gmail account or your business's account to get started, and drop your email address in there and get started moving through that. And you can see they're even giving you $100 in ad credit to get started, which will definitely be enough to give you, at least a week of data. And maybe, if you're going at $3 to $5 per click through, I'm not sure, I'm just grabbing that out of thin air. That might be 20 clicks through to the site, and it could even turn into some customers, but it will certainly give you a start. That $100 will certainly give you a start with the ad data and a bit of learning, with your audiences, your keywords, and those sorts of things. So, but I have, we've done this in the business before. This is my dad's business, Geelong Winery Tours, that we're going to show you behind the scenes on. So I'm going to just click in that top right hand corner. It was like, what was it? It was like sign in or something. Sign in. So I'm going to sign in as him. If you haven't done this before, there's just going to be a couple of steps that you're going to take before you get to anything that looks like this screen here. So those steps are just going to be sharing your business information, things like what website do you want the ads to go to and stuff like that, and maybe even putting in, like say credit card detail for future billing. You can put caps on campaigns and stuff, so don't worry about overspending and stuff. You've got really good visibility control over campaign spend. I'm not going to get into how to set up an account for Google Ads Express. It's important to note we are in Express here. We're not in the more complicated Google Ads Builder. We have much more granular control. That's not an issue. This is the easy way to get started. And as you can see in this account hasn't even been converted across into one of those more complicated accounts. We're just running it really, really lean and simple. So here we want to get more website sales. That's going to be our advertising goal. You choose yours, but once you've shared your business website details and stuff with Google, you're going to get to a similar page like this. So choose yours. I'm going to hit next. Now, if I flick back across to here, these this is the copy that we were going to use. These were the keywords that we're going to use, and we were going to target Melbourne, Geelong. So if I just jump across back to that other screen, this is our business. You'll probably only have one connected account there. So this is saying, where are your customers? So set up a radius around your business. So I'm going to click that, and I'm going to go, it's just going to increase that a little bit. And I see if I can go, nope, let's go. I'm going to add, down there, Melbourne. Oops. So that'll do. People could travel over on the ferry or do pickups on the ferry. Geelong, you could potentially expand out, but I reckon that looks fine. I might actually go, let's add in Ocean Grove. Let's add in a few. Nope. So for yours, you're just going to have a look. You're going to look through and find what works for you. So Torquay, Victoria. Oh. You know what we're going to do? We're going to get rid of that. We're going to get rid of that. And we're going to set up a radius, but we're going to go Werribee. That's right in the middle. So if I add a radius, that's good. That's great because we're getting Western Melbourne. We could go a little bit further. We're getting down here. We're getting the Bellarine, Geelong. Cool. And there I go, getting rid of it. So you work out what works best for you. And remember, as we talked about in the earlier slides, this can be a bit broader than Facebook because Facebook's going to hit more people. This says 10 million people, but once we start adding our keywords, that's going to significantly reduce even into the tens, not the thousands or the hundreds, but it could literally drop down into the tens. So what is your business category? Yep. What specific products or service? So wine tour, I reckon. So suggested for you, no. So wine tours. Winery tours. You're going to add your keywords. This is where you're starting to get into some of those keywords. Google wants to know. It's going to assume some keywords from those terms that you drop in. And this is where we're going to, so if I go back, so you can see that will show your ad to people searching for similar terms on Google. So it's trying to keep it really simple for you. So here you want to be quite specific around your product or service. So wine tours, winery tours. If I wanted to, we could add beer tours, winery tours, Bellarine, wine tours, Geelong, winery tours, Geelong, winery tours. Let's go, and then let's go beer tours. That's probably a bit better. So you drop in yours. Here we're going to start, this is where we're starting to build your ad. There's our ad preview, right? So this is where our clicks are going to go through to, which is fine. That's just going to go through to our home page. We could make that, point that to the tours page itself, and maybe let's do that. So Geelong winery tours.com.au. I'm going to go to the tour page. In the meantime, I'm going to come here and remind myself of those messages that I was going to use. So less than 1.5 hours from Melbourne, taking bookings now. Tour like a local. Guided tours to the best wineries on the Bellarine. Love that. And here, what we were doing, we were going to get the tour options URL. So back here, guided tours to the best winery. That's not going in there. I don't have enough space. Pop it in there. You can see here that the ad's displaying heading 1, heading 2, heading 3 there. So in here, this is our URL that we're going to use. You might use it for, like, you know, pointing to your products page or something like that. There we go. So I'm going to, that's where the ads go. Here we're going to go tour Geelong and Bellarine. You can see there 26 of 30 means I have 4 characters left here. I'm just going to say tour Geelong and Bellarine. We do have extra context here. So, whoops. I'm going to come back over to here. We actually haven't said anything about wineries, which we need to there. Less than 1.5 hours and taking bookings. Some of them are really good, so I might pop less than 1.5 hours from Melbourne, and we'll put only no. Let's put that. Do we get it? Away. We know that this ad's only going to go to people within that the scope of the distance that we added, so we can definitely say less than 1.5 hours away. I don't think anyone would really be much further than that, if that. So tour Geelong and Bellarine. Tour, let's leave Geelong out. Tour the wineries of the Bellarine. 34, let's see, where can we tour wineries of you're going to have a bit of a work through what fits. Wineries, cutting down on characters where you can. So two of the Bellarine wineries, and we'll make that a cap, and then that a cap to look better. Less than 1.5 hours away. Tour like a local. Let's go book a tour today. Guided tours to the best wineries Bellarine, less than 1.5 hours away. And let's see if there's any messaging that we wanted to add. Guided tours, I'll leave the car at home. I reckon we're pretty good. I'm going to leave that as it is. So there's an ad. We've got an ad, remembering that this is to that sort of like Geelong and Melbourne audience. Less than one, actually, given it's a Geelong audience, let's leave that. All right, so just going to hit next. Once you've got your ad copy done, you're going to go next. This is where you're choosing your budget. You could go into your own budget. Actually, I might do that. Let's drop it down to $5, set budget. With a budget lower than your competitor, yeah, like whatever. So what that's saying, it's trying to get you to go a little bit higher, but essentially what that's saying is you've got competitors that are competing to advertise to the same people that you are. The higher your bid, this is a daily a daily budget. But like an individual click might cost you $5 and consume your entire budget. An individual click might cost you $1 and you get 5 clicks in a day. Essentially, what Google's saying is the higher that you, the greater the value you put there, the more likely they are to prioritize you above competitors, because they know you've got a budget to spend, and you've got a bit of money behind your campaign. So when that's less, you may not even get served up to anybody. So I'm just going to stick with $5 and let's see if that actually ends up getting clicks and stuff. So this is good. Estimated performance. This is our impressions and reach. Now that actually seems pretty high to me for a monthly budget of like $5 a day or $150. That seems like really good value if we got that. And that all looks good. So let's click next. And now we've got our first campaign. It's not the first campaign on this business, but it'll be the first campaign for you set up. And this page here is where you'll come and you can see the stats on that campaign. Obviously not running. It'll actually get reviewed by Google before it goes live. But within probably, by tomorrow, if you opened up an incognito window, and just ran a search for, Tour Geelong Wineries or something like that, that would probably show your ad if there wasn't too much competition and, the aforementioned budget and stuff was suitable to get you to rise above the competition at least, a few times a day to get your ads clicked. So here, this search phrase is actually going to populate, not right now, but if I was to go into one of the older campaigns and come into search phrases, you can see that that's actually going to populate. So in time, you're actually going to come in here and you're going to tweak this based on how you're going and how the data is going for you. So how the results, is going for you. So if I click manage all and come down here, this is where you can start to see if your budget's going to be wasted. So that winery, that's way too broad a phrase for us to want to target. So I'm going to turn that off. Winery in, I still think that's too broad. You can see impressions here. So we're going to go to anywhere where there's quite a few impressions and it's not that relevant for an actual tour or for what you want to ask yourself is the person that's typing that in displaying intent to purchase your product? And if it's a no, you probably want to turn it off. So I'm just going to go through a few of the higher ones. These look pretty good. See, that's pretty irrelevant. The rest are pretty good. So I'm going to hit save. So in a couple of days, when your new when the new campaign that you've set up, which was this one, it started to populate and you start to see search phrases in there, jump in here and start setting up, start configuring that to make more sense. Google's gonna, their algorithm's gonna work that out for you based on the keywords that we popped in during their ad setup. Just go in and start configuring that, getting rid of some of the ones that are a little bit too broad or aren't mapped tight enough to the person's intent to purchase your product. So that's how to set up your Google ad. I'm going to jump back over into here. And that was the only one we're going to set up in Google Ads. I'll just show you, if you wanted to add another one under this campaign, I reckon if we go here and go edit ad, so this is like a wacky way to do it in Google Ads Express. But let's say if we like the keywords that we've got set up, we like the demographic, like the location and stuff. I'm pretty sure if you go to edit ad, you can go write another ad. So there's one way that you could potentially, like you could use similar copy. Let's just go duplicate and remove ad 3, remove ad. Go edit there. That's fantastic, isn't it? Remove. Write another ad, duplicate. There we go. So you might change one or two things in there, like you might move some of that copy up to there, move that copy down to there, and over time, I'm not going to save that. But over time, then you can start to compare which ads are doing better than others in the back end here. So it's a good way just to test some of that copy. So that's how you duplicate an ad in Google AdWords Express, or how you create a new ad in Google AdWords Express. Now I'm going to go in and actually show you how to set up your Facebook ads as well.